And here we are.
Here we are
Here we
in our
are
respective studios.
in our social distance studios.
Oh,
How are
very
you?
interesting.
How are you,
Oh,
sir?
um, great. Tentative,
Yes.
but great. How are you?
Yeah, about the same.
Yeah.
Hanging in there. It's our first quarantine podcast, our first quarantine anything.
Mhm.
Trying to figure out how we were going to do this, but
Yeah, I think we just have to see what we can see, and talk about the things that are affecting us now, but also talk about things that are fun and exciting.
it's a brave new world we're living in.
Yeah, it's what people are calling the new normal, I guess.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, for context, it is Sunday, March 29th.
Mm-hmm.
We are in Los Angeles. How long have we officially been on lockdown? Almost 2 weeks, I guess.
So the lockdown was it the 14th? No, 12, 16th? I don't remember. I know that for us, for work, we were told to stay home.
You know what? I think it was after St. Patty's Day, which was the 17th. So I think it was that Friday after that LA was like officially, that's it, we're done.
Okay.
So we're coming up on, double digits. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it's been interesting. I haven't really left the house in a long time. At least a week was the last time I went out, and that was just for a drive by myself.
Contemplating, huh?
We considered going to the market this weekend, but I talked Sarah out of it. I'm just like, I'm not up for it right now. I don't want to go. Like, I just don't want to go.
Well, you don't need food, do you?
No, I mean, we need a couple of things, like minor things, but not enough, like not anything important enough where I was going to like risk going and standing in line with strangers to go get a couple of items,
Oh, okay.
We've been surviving off going to Rite Aid and like the liquor store, basically.
Yeah.
But even then, we haven't been to Rite Aid or the liquor store since this past Tuesday.
Okay.
So,
What about? Oh, sorry.
No. We've just been trying to spend time outside, just sitting in the backyard or sitting on the stoop.
Sure.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were saying that because we chatted virtually on Wednesday last week for a good amount of time. I thought it's kind of amazing how the ability to talk like this is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
People could do this for years and years and years, and now when people are going to say like, oh, maybe we should hang out, there's really no excuse.
This is true.
You have zero excuse to hang out. You're like, no, I'm working. Yeah, but all day? No, I could hang out in the evening.
Yeah, we've done it. We did it with you guys, and I think we've done it on 3 other occasions. We actually did a back-to-back on Friday. It was pretty intense.
Wow. Okay.
We spoke with my friend Mitchell, his girlfriend, and then his brother and his wife all at the same time. So it was like a big 6-person party.
Okay.
And then right after that, we spoke with Brian, who's the officiant at my wedding. You know Brian.
Right, of course.
And then, of course, we did Redkin a couple of times.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, everyone's...
You could get him on this too.
I was just going to say, like, he's going to be so upset when he sees this that we left him out. But
we'll build him up.
Oh no, we're working out the kinks. We're working out the kinks.
Of course.
But no, it's been like everyone is like, I've been hearing from people I haven't heard from in a long time. I think that's pretty common right now. Yeah. I've been trying to reach out to people. It's crazy at this point. Everyone knows someone who's been affected in one way or the other, obviously. So, but like we were saying, you and I are kind of both fortunate enough where we are still working virtually from home. So that's been a big adjustment. You know what? We got one more week to go. I'm just trying to get through this week, power through it with everything that's been going on. And I actually kind of like it. I was telling you, I like the idea of it. And it took me a week or 2 to kind of figure out the kinks and come up with a routine at home.
Yeah.
but it's very, I mean, it's definitely viable. I like being like the close proximity, but it's just like how long before the novelty wears off, you know? So
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, you know, the with having work, it definitely helps to set up a routine that, because it's got that schedule, right? And because of the schedule, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I already know what the majority of my day will be like, and then the evening where I'm really doing my best to separate like the work time from the, like, I'm not at work right now, you know.
Hmm.
um, Whereas, you know, when you're at work, it's very simple because like you leave the office and it's like, okay, I'm done, so now
Hmm.
I'm at home. um, but now that my new office is in the bedroom,
Hmm.
it's like I wake up
And there you are.
and there I am. I'm here. It's almost like a dream come true. I've had to resort to like boosting the internet a little bit with just like directly plugging into the router.
Wow, yeah.
um, and that's been, so it's just like this 50-foot, you know, cord just going through the house. The cats love it.
No,
You
of
know, they,
course, yeah.
you know, they can't get enough. But there is a, I wouldn't say that it's like super weird because I've worked at home before, just because it's like, oh, I need to do work when I, like, when work is done, I need to bring work home with me. So I haven't felt the urge of oh, I'm so distracted by other things. I haven't really felt that at all. But you're right, like that might change after a while. You're like, this sucks, man. So
Yeah, but that point of not having anywhere to go after work is done is very apt, I would say, especially since we can't even leave the house, you know. Um,
yeah.
so, but what have you guys been doing to kind of, you know, entertain yourselves? The standard,
Uh,
lots of
well,
binge watching.
um, well, what we try to do our walks. That's, I'll say that first. You know, it's health first, right? And we'll try to do a walk around the block, um, at least once a day. Sometimes it doesn't work, but and then sometimes maybe twice, just at different times of the day. It's kind of weird though, because when you're walking outside, it's like you want to avoid other people, which is mildly humorous,
Yep.
because like people are just like going across the street, or some people who like really don't care whatsoever. They just keep walking through, and you kind of look at them like, hey man, what are you doing? But to answer your question about what we do when we're here, um, there was binge watching. Uh, Ozark came out season 3 on Friday. We've only watched one episode because we started watching Tiger King uh, after that, which kind of just sucked us in.
Sarah's been watching that. I kind of heard it in the background when I was working on other things. I had
Yeah,
seen it all over the interwebs. Is it is it real or is it fictional? Is it a parody or is it real?
it is real.
It is. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there are.
It just seems
They,
so. It seems so over the top. I was like, this has to be like a Christopher. It almost seems like a Christopher Guest movie, like A Mighty Wind or something. It's so ridiculous.
well, he looks like that Mighty One guy.
Hmm.
Actually, to me, he looks, when he laughs, when the main guy, Joe,
Joey
what is his name?
Pants.
Oh God, no, what is Joey Pants? Joe Fantastic, Joe Exotic. Duh. He is, when he smiles, he looks almost exactly like Eric Idle, like 30 years ago. He's got the same kind of like smile. So, and he kind of looks like him. And I saw the other day that Edward Norton and Dax Shepard were going to maybe play. They were fighting over playing that guy.
I saw that.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it because it is bizarre,
Hmm.
but the documentary is set up in such a way where there's real footage, there's dramatized footage, although that doesn't happen very often, and it's really not overdone. And then there is mixed in with news reports and couple of statistics. I don't know. It's just like it's a very interesting type of documentary if you're into that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, I just wanted to know what happened to all the cats. A lot of depravity. There's a lot of depravity in the show,
I can see that.
which is why it's so good.
And we're
Cool.
back. A little cutoff there. Still
Yeah.
trying to figure out how this free version of Zoom works. But
It
we were
works out.
saying,
It works out with things that are free work.
yeah, exactly. No, we were just trying to figure out how entertainers and other people are trying to navigate these new waters of working virtually and what it's looked like so far. But yeah, it seems like, I mean, now's probably the time to buy some Zoom stock, to be honest with you. Everybody's using it.
Well, did I read like 2 weeks ago or something that before everyone had started using Zoom or something along the lines of like a couple, like a minute ago, Zoom stock actually went down, and I don't remember why. Like maybe it had to do with too many people being on the platform, or like could they handle? I don't know, whatever it
Sure,
was, but
they can support it. Yeah.
so, but now because the major institutions like USC, right, aren't they, or UCLA, weren't they using Zoom? Is everybody using Zoom?
I think basically everyone's going to be using it.
Okay.
I mean, all schools are going virtual. All schools have gone virtual, I should say. So
Yeah, that's cool. Well, for the binging at least, because depending on how we go. But what have you watched? I know we talked about me, but what have you watched?
honestly, I haven't really watched anything new.
Mhm.
Still been just watching YouTube stuff. We did delve into the Disney Plus last night a little bit just to see what's up. I watched some of the old Disney cartoons, the afternoon cartoons. Um,
Okay.
I started watching Darkwing Duck and
Oh yeah.
um,
Let's get dangerous.
yeah, yeah. I always liked that cartoon. What was the one with the blue? The
Tailspin.
Yeah, basically the animated Han Solo cartoon.
Sure. Yeah.
Tailspin. um, I always loved Tailspin too. They don't have obviously they don't have DuckTales because I think there's a new show going on right now. They don't have the classic DuckTales, but
Oh, they
um,
don't.
I couldn't
Oh.
find it. No, I think they took it
Oh.
down because they're like making a new one, or there's a new one already.
Interesting.
Which I tried watching, but I just don't like the animation style. It's a little too modern. Um,
Yeah. One of the things that we'd seen on there that at first I was not into, but then after a while I got into it because they're like 5 minutes long each, is these Mickey Mouse shorts,
oh yeah, we watched some of those. Yeah.
and those are bizarre.
Yep.
Like,
Acid Trip.
yeah, and I guess if you looked at some of these old cartoons, ones that we would watch when we were younger, that had a little bit more of that like Ren and Stimpy kind of attitude,
Hmm.
like those are in the same vein, just like bizarro, and they still exist today, right? Like Gravity Falls. I don't know. There's a lot out there that are just like, as a kid, you're just like you totally accept it, and then now you watch and you're like, oh, this is messed up. How can kids watch this?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really do like those Mickey Mouse ones because they're short and they're right to the point. They're very efficient in their storytelling.
Yeah.
If there's anything about me, it's efficiency.
We're all efficient.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I've been watching some comedy, trying to find new comedians.
Hmm.
Um, but
Anyone? Who have you found?
there's a guy that I like. He's very up and coming. His name is Mark Normand.
Okay.
Um, he only has like maybe one special. And he's been doing it for like 10 years though, 10,
Hmm.
15 years. So you can find a bunch of his stuff on YouTube. He's good. He's like very polished, and he's funny.
Okay.
He just doesn't have a lot of material because he's only been around for a little bit. So I've been watching his stuff. Um, I don't know who else. Trying to. That's the guy I've been watching the most right now.
There was
Uh,
he's been around for a while, but it's like Netflix keeps putting out this new content. Maybe now they're going to slow down a bit, but Tom Papa came out with
Oh yeah.
the stand-up thing.
He
That was
he
yeah,
went to high school with my sister actually.
interesting.
Yeah. Jersey
Interesting.
boy. Jersey boy. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him from that Seinfeld show, The Marriage Ref. Um,
Oh wow.
a
That's a deep
number.
cut right there. Yeah.
Yeah. What a bizarre, turn of events that was. But
hmm
I mean, Tom he's kind of like, he reminds me a lot of who's the not blue guy?
Yeah. Who does he's got blonde hair. He does the hot pocket
Yeah,
joke. Yeah.
Hot Pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like very clean, family friendly.
yeah.
All
He
family
hits.
and kid humor. Yeah.
He does go a little like he'll swear occasionally, or he'll talk about things occasionally that are just like PG-13 at the most, but
Yep.
for the most part, Jim Gaffigan, that's the guy.
Yeah.
He's very like, you could probably show it to grandma, and grandma would be like, ooh, he's getting a little blue. And like, grandma, come on, you know,
No,
it's not
he's good.
that blue.
He's been on my radar for a couple of years. I like him. His early stuff's really funny too, but yeah, he gives off serious Gaffigan vibes, which is fine. I'm sure.
Yeah. I wonder who came first. I don't know. They've been around a long time, both of them.
It's true.
So, but I don't know. I'm not really gonna look it up either. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah, yeah. But one of the things that you had brought up was, what is the industry going to do now that there are no movie theaters
Nothing's
to
happening. No
to
one's
show?
working. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know I think Universal and Disney both got a couple of their like tent poles in the can already, so they're okay.
hmm
But there's obviously no new production for the you know anytime soon. I know
yeah,
a few movies, and I can't back this up, but I know a few movies have been pushed back already for their releases. Like James Bond, I heard was pushed back by like a
yeah.
year or something.
I think they're going to go for the November, which makes sense because from what I recall, most of their movies come out in November or December, like
hmm
most of the recent ones at the very least. Maybe, yeah. I feel like they've mostly been end of the year releases. So for them to have released it in April was kind of like weird, but for them to push it back, I guess, a little more normal.
Yeah, and then depending on how long this goes, I know Universal is already trying out the streaming service,
hmm
and they have a couple of their current releases up or streaming, or movies that were in the theater that are now also being streamed.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of is The Invisible Man, because I know that came out in like February, but now you can actually stream it at home.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so they're starting to finally toy around with this idea because everyone needs the income. So that roadblock of theaters not wanting to, give access to the new releases has totally been blown aside.
Yeah,
So we'll
absolutely.
see what the long term effects are. Maybe this will be a thing moving forward. But
Well, the
doing a dual release.
yeah, I wonder, because the theater chains are so, they got to look out for their bottom line, and people who are going to want to stay at home, like, and that's something else that I've kind of realized too. It's like, I'm at home, I'm not able to go into work. I'm not a very I do not require a lot of social interaction to survive. It's not that I don't like social interaction, but I definitely don't need it as much as maybe some other people might want it. And therefore, I feel like the situation that I have at the moment, this can change, is not the worst
hmm
that it could be. Um, but it is. Okay. I do feel like once all of this has settled down significantly, and perhaps having a vaccine, and just because, the more I'm reading about this virus, I'm going to get back to my point. The more I'm reading about it, it's like, I don't want it.
hmm
I don't think, when people were saying it's like a cold, like, okay, well, then maybe that's not so bad. And now people are saying, like, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to react. People who are like, getting that pneumonia. I had
Mhm.
walking pneumonia. I don't want pneumonia. I I feel like walking pneumonia is but a shred of the power of pneumonia. Bernie Mac died of pneumonia. People are dying. I don't want it. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to say like, oh, I'll be totally cool with this, but I am waiting for like this vaccine in a year.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna be excited to go back out to the public and go to a bar or a restaurant or go to a theme park or go
Yeah.
to a movie theater. I feel like once this is kind of let up, all of that like not wanting to go out that I had in the past is going to have built up so much that it's just going to be like I want to do everything
Hmm.
just because I couldn't. And so
Yeah. The economy is gonna boom once this is over. That's for sure. But
I hope it does. I hope it's oh god. I'm
and
thinking
I
about yeah.
no, I was gonna say, it'll be interesting to see. To your point, like let's say this goes on like optimistically. Let's say it only lasts 2 more months, right? And then they're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, everyone's safe to go out and start doing things again. I wonder
Yeah.
how long the effect of like people automatically like social distancing, how long that's going to last. Uh,
Yeah.
are you going to be at Disneyland and the person's going to be standing too close to you in line? You'd be like, hey, 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 back it up. You know what I mean?
Why say that
Like,
anyway?
I
I
well,
mean,
exactly. So this is just made the problem worse. But no, I feel like this is going to stick around in people's minds for a long time, which is
yeah.
not a bad thing. Like at the very least, we've learned that uh, this this stuff is not just for the for movies anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We're being conditioned right now to just be like, stay away from me, don't touch me, don't even
Yeah.
look at me.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah.
It can't be played. Um, yeah, and I do worry about that, in for the sake of people being like freaked out by other people, people or just xenophobia or something like that, and how it's just like I hope that this effect is not going to exacerbate that, even though I
Mhm.
feel like it will. But um, in terms of the economy, I hope that people who are, you know, laid off, because it's not just like, oh, they're just going to go back to their job
Right.
necessarily. It could be that their job doesn't exist anymore.
That's very true. Yeah.
And so I do wonder about that. And I wonder about it for myself. Like, you know, are we going to have a shortage of clients because they all got hit?
Yeah.
And potentially, so it's not just the virus itself, but it's the long reaching effects of it. So I feel like I'm doing as good a job as I can,
Yeah.
being as like, you know, worry wart that I am, and just trying to focus on each day instead of like, you know, the potential terrible things that could happen in the future. But
Yeah. No, I hear you. And last night actually was the first night I really couldn't fall asleep. Um,
oh
Oddly enough, up until this point, I've been sleeping pretty well, but that's, a lot of that has to do with the more drinking I've been doing. So,
yeah,
but just being honest, um, but kind of slowed down this weekend. And last night I was like, man, I can't fall asleep. And now it's just me and my brain. So
mhm.
I didn't fall asleep till like 3 in the morning, even though I went to bed early. I couldn't fall asleep until like 3 in the morning, and then woke up at like 7 or 8 today.
Wow.
But yeah, so just trying to adjust to that. We have been sleeping a lot more, like trying to. Um,
Yeah, I know we've pushed back like what time to go to bed, because it's kind of like, well, you just have to wake up
yeah,
and then you're at work. But it's proved to be kind of problematic because like we had spent so much time trying to go to bed earlier because our commute required us to wake up early,
right.
let's say 5:30, and then make that happen. But now you don't have to do that, so we're waking up at like 7,
Yeah,
and I know for myself, like I would get the most work done in the morning before work would start,
Hmm.
and now I don't really have that. And so I'm trying to get back into that where I do have that, and I can feel good about like the rhythm of the day because things have changed around. Not to mention all the stuff that I'm thinking about that's in the world, and we live in a society.
We live in a
Um,
society.
that's right, and darn it, gonna make sure that it doesn't fall apart by doing our part.
Yeah.
Yeah, movies.
It's well, I'm glad
uh,
that you know again, this was just so sudden, and a lot of that has to do with us just being unprepared as a society, as a nation. It's like literally one day we were talking about our next episode, and now we haven't filmed anything until today. And
yeah.
but I'm glad we're doing this. It brings back some sense of normalcy, even though we're doing it like this. But um,
Well, how prophetic that we were talking about. You know, we had done 2 podcasts before 3 technically. I don't think that third one's going to see the light of day, unless of course that Johnny Depp thing comes out, because I still like that Tarantino idea
right.
of making a Tarantino movie. But beside the point, the having a podcast where we could just do this. This could be the
Mhm.
way that we podcast for the time being, because like we were saying before, we have ideas for videos, like
Mhm.
actual like scripted things, but this might just have to suffice for the time being.
Yeah, we were so happy because we're like, man, this podcast thing's so easy, but
Yeah,
this is even easier. We don't have to leave our homes.
best.
Zoom records everything for us.
It's the
This is
wonderful.
this is our first podcast with video because we don't have to worry
Yeah,
about setting anything up. So
right.
we'll
It's
definitely
just
have to
right
get
there.
Redkin and maybe even Maria on this. That'll be fun.
I think the more the merrier. Well,
Yeah,
we're going to talk over each other though, and that's going to be the best. Cacophony
it's
of sounds. Yeah.
we can play some online poker.
Oh yeah. Everyone sees each other's hands.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. I
But
promise I won't bet against you, even though I know what you have. Because looking at my odds, it's probably not going to work out for me. But yeah, this you were mentioning about social distancing, and I brought this up before uh, when we were all talking on Wednesday evening, and how social distancing of like 6 feet. But when Kelly and I had gone to the grocery store last Saturday, or a week before the one we had yesterday, right? Anyway, 8 days ago,
mhm.
um, we had gone to the grocery store, managed to get in and get whatever we could find. And then when we were driving home, Kelly was driving and had 6 car lengths in between
Oh,
us.
right,
So
right.
it's just like, the proper road etiquette too,
With the
keeping
recycle button always on. Yeah, that's
right.
it.
So I mean, it's important, proper, social distancing on the road. And
It's I'm with you. I agree. And we're back.
oh yeah. Hmm.
Wrapping up, I guess. Should we sing a song together? Should we each take a
I
line?
nah.
Peace
Uh,
sells.
sure.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
one's gonna complain about that one.
No. No. Or what's that other one? What's the one that's Holy Wars?
Wake Up
Yeah.
Dead, Holy Wars, Wake Up Dead.
Wake
Anything
Up Dead.
in the catalog.
Oh, I wouldn't. Oh,
Poor Dave Mustaine. He just got out of cancer treatment. He's like, I'm back, and everyone's like, everything's canceled, and he's like, ah.
I saw him playing online with, I guess like his daughter was singing, and he was playing guitar, right? But he had a mask on, and he was like, his hair was all tied back, and it's like, is that actually Dave? No, it was Dave. But yeah, I do. I feel like I'm gonna want to go to a lot more concerts once this is all done, and just be like, hey, don't take this for granted.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, but you mentioned maybe RQDQ
Yeah.
as kind of a humorous RQDQ this week, not just for one person or for two, but for all of Hollywood.
All has been all of Hollywood has been RQDQ'd.
Yeah, just kind of waiting
Yeah.
for stuff to happen, to die down, and hopefully they'll come back and give us much more sequel work, prequel work. I'm very excited to see what the new Avatar movies are gonna be.
Oh boy.
Yeah, are those gonna get pushed back too?
I wonder when they're gonna release the Star Wars movie that I haven't seen yet.
Well, I think, isn't it on digital right now?
Is it?
I think you.
Is it for purchase only though?
I believe it's purchase only.
Not interested.
But I think there. I think I had read that there's a rumor. I love rumors that that those kinds of releases that they had pushed, for certain date are being pushed back all now, or pushed forward to get it out there, to just like get people involved. Like watch this movie, watch this movie. You love this, remember? So yeah, but I think we should do this again.
We will do it again.
Good.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, stay safe.
There's not much to say except be well, stay safe.
Be well, stay healthy. We'll see you next time. And I think like next week. We'll see him next week.
One more week. You know what? It's going to be nice and warm here next week, or this coming week. So we got that. No more cold and rainy. It's going to be in the 80s this week. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that'll help something.
One thing that Kelly just mentioned that would be fun for next time is to have a happy hour RQDQ. I'm sorry, happy hour podcast.
I'm in.
Where why not?
I'm totally in.
I feel like I've revisited Mr. Bullet and Mr. Elijah Craig and just things like that.
Definitely polished off some bottles without even realizing. I was like, I think we were talking to you. I was like, Sarah, where's the scotch? She's like, you drank it. I was like, oh, I'm not used to hearing those things. Hearing those words. Yeah.
Well, you caught me in some rare, because I don't do it all that often anymore, but a shooting match.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't done that, so I guess when in Rome.
Yes, go on.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, sir, I had a good time.
Hopefully, I had fun too.
Hopefully, we can bring some sort of solace to our fans.
Hopefully.
Of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and then hopefully all of the major studios will see all of this and be like, we need to give them a bigger show. That's what they need to do. They do this from home. It's so good.
So easy.
And they do it from home with minimal equipment.
Well,
you have a setup. I have a pair of like 10-year-old headphones that that's what I got.
It's a work in progress, is what we're saying, folks.
Sure. Perpetually. All right, everybody.
All right.
Well, stay healthy.
Yes.
All right.
And we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.